you lose your way a little bit. That's inevitable.
Even with all the experience you have inking, you still feel like you lose your way a little bit?
Always.
Is that a good thing, though?
Probably.
Do you kind of want to lose your way a little bit?
I think it's probably always good to be a bit scared, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. Well, do you ever discover new things when you feel like you've lost your way?
I rediscover fear, panic, terror. No.
After all these, you've been doing this, what, 22 years, 25 years?
Yeah, but every new picture's a new picture. And I mean, you know me, you've seen what I do. I've never established a decent kind of technique. I'm always...
I wouldn't say that's a true statement.
Well, it's not a clear, you know, like some people have got a very clear, like, you know, Dave's nailed a technique which is Dave Gibbons, and he knows exactly how many lines to put in for whatever he wants, which is an amazing thing. I'm always intrigued and fascinated by that kind of dedication to a technique. But me, I don't really know what I'm doing half the time. I mean, I know how form works, and I like texture. But I think you'll find that most artists don't quite get out on the paper what they have in their head. Not quite. Very rarely. Very occasionally. But I guess my main worry is that I draw 50 lines when I only needed one.
Yeah, but don't you feel it's important not to agonize over the lines you lay down?
Well, that's what I mean. I do agonize over them.
Yeah, okay.
But then I kind of like the old school. I'm a bit of a sucker for Alcala and those old school guys, and you know, there's not that many people doing this kind of rendering either. So.
Not these days, no. I mean, especially with all the digital inking going on, you know, or trying to just remove the inker altogether and just, you know, put curves on the pencils in Photoshop.
Yeah, and I tried to honour my old mentor, Don Lawrence, because he was always about texture and line, and, you know, giving everything its own texture.
So what would you feel is the best tip you could give a young inker?
Replaced Fallon, who replaced Leonard.
Best tip for a young inker. Practice with a brush, probably.
Joe, Liam, we'll see you guys over there.
Okay, mate.
See you in a second.
There's not many people practicing with brushes.
So traditional education.
I think if you can control a brush, then you'll be all right with anything after that. There's this, but then again, even then, I kind of do it all wrong. A couple of, because I draw from the wrist, and you're kind of meant to do it from the elbow, really.
Isn't it kind of like the old Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do, though? It just depends on... It's not like everybody's the same with the same temperament and body type, and therefore you just use what works, throw away what doesn't work, and add what is uniquely your own.
Yep. I think that's a fair statement.
I mean, have you ever seen those movies of Buscema inking? He's not really moving his whole arm.
I haven't.
It actually looks a lot similar to what you're doing now.
Buscema knew where to stop, though.
And you don't feel that you do?
No, I definitely don't. But I don't know where to stop always, but I like the accidental. I kind of like the stuff that you find when you throw down a blob. Yeah. That's the beautiful. That's the thing with a brush is you get a lot of accidental shapes.
You sure do get a lot of rich, bold texture out of it. That's for sure. I love those trees.
Which trees? There's no trees in this.
Well, I mean the top. They're not tree. It's the top of the cave.
Yeah, it's meant to be like the inside of a bamboo type structure. So you've got these ribs and interwoven stuff, and then there's some smoke coming up, and then bits of broken shards and things.